Hello from Studio 8, an empty studio, which is a very rare occurrence because generally in Sky all the studios are normally full, and if it's not full it's because something is about to take place here and create the magic of television. But let's do the top 5, and let's start with Lionel Messi. First one has to be Messi, who scored his 40th hat-trick of his career. He's scored so far 400... What am I saying? 100 more. 546 goals he's scored in his career. Some say 1,000 over 1,000 if you count the goals in the lower ranks of Newell's and Barcelona. But we are talking professionally an average of 0.86 goals per game, which is amazing. In 14 seasons, the consistency gets proven in the amount of leagues that Barcelona have got. The longer term competitions actually help you with that, and I expected. Oh, hello. So yes, 0.80. Check the notes. 86 goals per game, 30 titles in the process, and as I said, the longer competitions like La Liga shows that they needed his consistency, and he's provided that consistency. It was Leganés, of course. It was a 3-1 result that didn't tell the whole story because for a while it was 2-1 and needed a late goal for the hat-trick of Messi and to guarantee the 3 points of Barcelona. Now, Messi told his teammates that he was a little bit concerned because he felt muscle pains, perhaps tiredness, but he was even more concerned that if he didn't play soon, he will lose that kind of sharpness that makes him so special. So he missed the 2 games with Argentina, only played the last half an hour against Sevilla, and finally now Roma and Leganés, 2 consecutive games, and you see the best of Messi. Messi needs to play games. He feels that if he doesn't do that, it takes him a while to recover his form. So just before the return leg against Roma, Messi seems to be at his best. Number 2 has to be Cristiano Ronaldo, who scored again. It's his 23rd goal in La Liga and he's 40 in all competitions. And this is the new Cristiano Ronaldo, if you like. We've been talking about it all season. The fact that he, of course, was suspended for 5 games at the beginning of the season because of a ban. He's also not played any cup game. He was left out of 3 games in the league, and this is the 5th game in which he doesn't finish the game either. That's completely planned, and you could see in the way he went out that he actually went out of his way to say to shake the hand of Zidane. So there was no stories made out of the fact that he actually left the pitch when the game was not resolved at all. Good news from Bale, who wasn't so good in the first half on the right-hand side, but when he was moved on the left-hand side, he was the old Bale, and of course he was the one with the assist for Ronaldo. And a lot of talk has been made of the guard of honor of Real Madrid that they should actually provide at the Camp Nou, at the Clasico. Let me tell you, it's an occurrence from the 70s, didn't happen before, and it was just a sign of respect from the opposition if somebody had just recently won a big competition or the league. Now, Barcelona have done it to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid have done it to Barcelona in 3 occasions. That's when the big giants of Spanish football have recognized each other as champions. 3 times. The last time in 2006-07, and the right card, and that was, if I'm not mistaken, at the Bernabeu, and of course that hasn't happened since then. Zidane says it was his decision. I can guarantee you it's a club decision, but Zidane just was happy to take the blame. Now, both clubs, Barcelona and Real Madrid, talk about, Real Madrid call themselves a gentleman club, and Barcelona talks about values, but they are unable to actually provide that for the opposition, and I think it's a bad example for kids and for everybody. In the previous Clasico at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid had just won the Club World Cup, and Barcelona said, we don't do guards of honor for that competition either. So both to blame, both absolutely wrong in my eyes. 3 has to be Atletico Madrid, which now are second, of course, and keep the distance with Real Madrid. 3 points from Valencia, 4 points from Real Madrid. The league is gone for them. But Simeone made a very good point, something we discussed here before. The fact that actually they won the league in a league that has got Real Madrid and Barcelona, and PSG, Roma and Juventus have realised how strong those teams are in the last few weeks. They will both be in the semi-finals probably of the Champions League, and this is the kind of competition that they create. One in which Atletico Madrid has to be absolutely brilliant to get to their level, where Valencia has to be absolutely brilliant to get ahead of Real Madrid, which makes the competition stronger. So imagine what's happening in the Premier League with Manchester City and the fact that they're running away with it. Well, imagine if you had two Manchester Cities in the Premier League, you'll have the same situation. It doesn't make the league worse. It actually makes it better because everybody will have to just sharpen their act to get to that level. Talking about sharp acts, Oblak was absolutely fantastic again. Ter Stegen, him and David De Gea, the three best goalkeepers in the world, no doubt about it. Andre Gomes has played for the second time this season a full game, 90 minutes. And he's done that at a very decent level. He was replacing with Rakitic. Both of them were playing in the Busquets role, if you like, which tells you how important Busquets is. Needs two people to replace him. But he was very good, Andre Gomes, or he was quite good. He recovered possession 11 times, as many as Piqué, as the two best defenders, if you like, of Barcelona against Leganés. And he did more, 95% of good passes as well. And it seems like mentally he's unblocked himself, if you like. And that's so important. Football is played in the mind. And if you don't have the confidence, forget it. That reminds me of, before I tell you an anecdote of Lampard and Mourinho, which is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I'll tell you something else about Andre Gomes. I knew at the beginning of the season that he was actually training on his own as well as with the first team, of course, because he felt this was a very good year, an important year as well, but he felt he was going to be good for him, the one that was going to show how good he is. Now, what happened is perhaps he put himself under so much pressure that when he started realizing that he was not playing, or when he was playing, he wasn't making an impact. He got also the whistles from the fans. A lot of things happened for him to stop showing his best level. And that affected his mind and his confidence. So he admitted in a fantastic interview with Panenka Football Magazine that I really recommend you if you speak Spanish. He actually was talking about he was embarrassed to go out in the streets. He trained very well, but in the games it didn't happen. And he was obviously mentally affected by the whole situation. Once that was read by the fans of Barcelona, they started clapping him. They backed him. And he seems released of that pressure. Anyway, what was interesting, of course, is that both Luis Enrique and Valverde have seen his potential, have led him or gave him opportunities, a lot of opportunities. And Valverde may just reap the benefits of that, maybe this season or next season, if he stays, because he's one of the players that Barcelona are willing to sell for the right price. But talking about mental strength and that football is played with the mind. So it was at the beginning of his stay at Chelsea, and Jose Mourinho walked into the showers of Chelsea players. Lampard was having a shower, and basically Mourinho wet himself with the water of the shower and told Lampard, "You're the best midfielder in the world," and walked away. Now that stayed in the mind of Lampard. It's like, why is he saying that to me? Maybe I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And then basically the rest is history, because Lampard did become one of the best midfielders in the world. It's about confidence as well, and somebody giving you that confidence to reach your potential. And the last one has to be Valencia. 8 victories in the last 9. A new goal from Rodrigo. Rodrigo scored 15 goals this season and fighting with Iago Aspas to become the other striker that Lopetegui will take to Russia. Iago Aspas and Rodrigo, I think they're fighting for one position. Iago Aspas having scored a hat-trick on Saturday, and he scored 19 goals this season. In fact, twice he's played Iago Aspas as a striker, and twice he scored a hat-trick. This time it was against a very poor Sevilla. Rodrigo scored not only the winning goal, also the first goal of the game, as he has happened as well in the previous 5 games in which he scored. The first goal is the one that he scores, and that tells you how important he is now for Valencia. Valencia that had Kandobia playing brilliantly as well, and Valencia is willing to pay his buyout clause of 35 million euros, so the loan becomes permanent. And Guedes, who is again, after his injury around Christmas, is back to his best, and they want to keep him. Now, how are they going to do that? Because remember, they have to sell players for 45 million euros. Well, it will be one of the investments for Valencia if they can buy him. 35 to 40 million euros is what they want to pay for him, and pay it in 6 years, which will then split up the cost in those 6 seasons. But as I said, they have to sell for 45 million euros. Guedes is on loan. Obviously, you cannot sell him. He's on loan from PSG. Recently, Marcelino and Mateo Alemany, the CEO of Valencia, and Unai Emery, the manager of PSG, had dinner together. Perhaps they spoke about that. Certainly, Valencia want to do that, and it's well deserved that they go for him. The problem is all the teams in Spain as well are after Guedes, so we'll see what happens with that. Don't forget to subscribe and give me your comments. What I'm going to do is collect them, and on Tuesday I'll do a weekly video based on whatever you're telling me and whatever you're thinking, and if I agree or not on what you're thinking of. So do that, subscribe, and keep in touch. Bye-bye.